Hey guys, good to see you again. And to my new subscribers, welcome to my channel. First of all, I have to thank everyone who watched my iceberg video. In only a few days, it's become my most viewed video and it's actually doubled my subscriber count.
Nice.
So, chances are you've seen that video already, but if you haven't, be sure to check it out after this one. And my Among Us videos. Any videos before that I wouldn't encourage you to watch, but you can.
Hello, all new viewers to my new channel.
That's all I really have to say for the pre-intro, so let's cue the disclaimer. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you watch anime, have been active on the internet this year, or play any Roblox, there's no way you haven't heard of this anime. But if you haven't seen it, it's basically buff dudes with magic powers fighting vampires, and then it becomes buff dudes with magic punching ghosts fighting other buff dudes with magic punching ghosts. It's a fun series. I became aware of its presence and became a huge addict back in 2017, the land before Animated Part 5, and when YouTubers like X-Force and Medi Not the Bad Guy dominated my YouTube feed. JoJo was popular at the time, but it hadn't quite blown up the way it has now. But one thing I did begin to see was Roblox JoJo games. Nice. At this time, they were few and far in between, but they're a fresh and fun concept for my JoJo-rotting 15-year-old mind. All I wished for at that time was more. More JoJo, more games, more stands, more everything. Little did I know that now, in 2020, the Roblox front page would be absolutely flooded with them. Well, maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I still like JoJo. So today we're going to give these games a shot. If you've seen my Dragon Ball games video, which you probably haven't, we're going to just go through a bunch of the games and see how they shake out.
Okay, so we're going to do some reviews. Let's start with Project JoJo. Just booting up Project JoJo. Okay. Punch. There's a menu here. Displays your abilities. I see. Okay, interesting. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna let's go back to this one. Actually, first I want to actually play Sakura Stand. Let's try that instead. Let's try that one first. Gonna play this one first. Wait for it to load. Wait for it to load here. Oh. Okay.
Okay, so maybe covering each game individually won't work out. I think if I tried to do the things in the same format as before, things would get really redundant really quickly. So instead, today I'm going to show you guys the bizarre reality of Roblox's JoJo games. Transition! So, JoJo games in Roblox have been around for a while, but the first two JoJo games to ever really get popular were JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Online and Not So Bizarre Adventure. Not So Bizarre Adventure was a fun little arena battle game where you'd spawn in as a stand instead of a stand user. It was random and you had the chance to be like, I want to say, Star Platinum, Part 4 Star Platinum, The World, Silver Chariot, Killer Queen, Hierophant Green, Crazy Diamond, and The Hand. And also Kenshiro for some reason. I don't know. It was at its peak for a while, I think from 2017 to 2018. It was a very fun game, and in my opinion it still holds up as one of the strongest JoJo games to date, but I mean, gameplay was pretty limited. You spawn in, probably reset 20 times until you get a stand you wanted, then you punch the heck out of people until you get killed, and then repeat the process. It's a fun format, but it only offers a few hours of fun for each player. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Online, however, was a lot different. That game was much more like the games you see nowadays, to an almost scary degree. You fight dummies or enemies, or you just press P a bunch of times to level up and train your stats, until you could find an arrow to pierce yourself and gain a random stand. In many ways, this game was the groundwork for all the JoJo games you see on your front page now. After Bizarre Adventures Online, another game would quickly rise to the top as one of the most popular JoJo games. While Bizarre Adventures Online was the pioneer for many of the mechanics commonly seen in JoJo games today, it wasn't until Project JoJo was created that the true JoJo game formula was set in stone. I doubt most of you need an explanation, but I'll explain the premise of the game anyways. It's simple. Upon spawning in, you have nothing. No stand, no weapons, no abilities. All you can do is punch. There are enemies and dummies you can fight to raise your experience. Upon leveling up, you can increase one of your stats. This is, of course, your average punching simulator affair. The JoJo part comes into play through the possibility to find objects either on the ground, through the shop, or through enemy drops. These include things like stand arrows, Rokakaka fruits, stone masks, Dio's diaries, and a lot more. The point is, A, you have a lot of options to what you want your main method of combat to be, and B, those options are more or less based off of random chance. But you probably want to stand, at least on your first time playing, so you find an arrow and pierce yourself. What do you get? Of course, your stand is completely random, so you probably didn't get the stand you wanted, which is fine. There are actually ways to increase your chance of getting a quote-unquote cooler stand, which I won't really get into because that's not really the point of this video. You could just eat a Rokakaka to reset your stand and try again, but that takes more waiting around for random chance. Or you could stick with it and upgrade your stats and go on quests to offer yourself new chances. After all, Project JoJo stresses that it is an RPG, so even the worst stands can potentially compete with top tier stands given enough training. And that's the JoJo game formula. Punching, leveling up and distributing stats, and your abilities almost completely being tied to random items/NPCs. And actually, I can say how you'd enjoy this. If you're a JoJo fan, this game is packed full of fan service. There's literally every ability ever known to JoJo, from Hamon to Spin to the ultimate life form to Shotgun. Of course, not every stand is in the game, but as of 2020, most of the stands any player would want are in the game. While there are in-game purchases, you can get by perfectly fine without them, just by putting time into the game. In my opinion, it kind of becomes a mess of people fighting in the middle with their overpowered stands, which isn't very fun for me, but if it floats your boat, I mean, I get it, man. If Project JoJo was the only JoJo game of its kind, I wouldn't be making this video. The issues come with the games that take this game and squeeze every last drop out of it like a wet rag. These are If you look at the most popular JoJo games currently, you'd be hard pressed to find a single game that isn't similar to Project JoJo. Many games cite their inspirations as Project JoJo, thus is why I'd call these games children of Project JoJo. I said Project JoJo a lot in that sentence. I say that all JoJo games are similar to Project JoJo, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's Roblox and JoJo, there's only so much you can do, and to be fair, the punching simulator system has been around in anime games for a long time before Project JoJo. The problem is that the majority of these games are just too similar. Too many games just take the JoJo formula from Project JoJo, slap a new UI on it, maybe add some spiffy animations if they're feeling fancy, and most importantly, add new stands, and then advertise it and say, "Hey, look here at our new original JoJo game!" And what happens with these games is it creates a weird power creep. Every JoJo game that comes out does nothing to add any fundamental changes, and instead, to pull in new people, they create new stands that other games don't have. Well, what happens if the other games have the stands that you wanted to put in? Then you add Requiem stands. What if another game has Requiem stands? Then you add Over Heaven stands. What if another game already has Over Heaven stands? Then you add Elemental stands and stands that are above Over Heaven or Undertale, or oh my god, it's all too much. Everyone is in such a rush to outdo each other with the flashiest stands that whenever you join one of these games, it's just pure chaos. Either that, or you just have okay games that don't really add anything over Project JoJo. Even some that straight up just use Project JoJo's code. At that point, why would you just not go play Project JoJo? 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be the more refined game. Also, early games such as Project JoJo and A Bizarre Day, as I said before, didn't have many in-game purchases. You could get by perfectly fine without spending any Robux. But many of these other games have a pay-to-win system where you can buy pretty much any of the items to bypass actually spending time to find them, which sucks, but some games are even more egregious, as to where you literally have to purchase the ability to reset your stand. So if you get a bad stand the first time around, good luck, buddy. I hope you have your mom's credit card. I guess each of these games can have their appeal, but it just makes me kind of sad. This type of cheap game design is not really what I like about Roblox. If everyone's doing the same thing, it's hard for me to be proud of Roblox as an intuitive platform for younger game developers, which I really do believe it can actually be sometimes. Okay, so you've somehow still sat through this entire video so far. You must think I hate JoJo games on Roblox, and I'm never gonna play any. And you're actually wrong, my friend. There are actually a few... Bro. As I was saying, there are actually a few JoJo games that I think are genuinely good. Your Bizarre Adventure is one such game. It, of course, is a bit of a punching simulator. Punch bad guys to level up and then find a stand arrow to gain a random stand. Except, it's actually really fun. There's a fully functioning quest system, which, to be fair, a lot of other JoJo games have, but this one actually has a main quest line that you can follow, where each quest connects to another, as well as plenty of side quests. The map design is nice. It actually feels like each area is there for a reason, rather than there just being a bunch of wide open stretches of nothing. Instead of just distributing to stats, you actually get a skill tree which lets you upgrade your abilities. And stands. Man, let me tell you, when I got my stand at first, I was a bit disappointed. I mean, 6 pistols wasn't the first stand I had in mind, and it was a bit underpowered. But I kept playing and upgrading my skill tree, and it actually became really fun to use. At first it's just a normal gun, except bullets bounce off walls. I guess if you were some kind of mega genius, you could probably use the bouncing projectiles to your advantage, but I'm stupid, so I never got anywhere with them. At some point in the skill tree though, I unlocked an ability that would allow you to bounce the bullet to exactly wherever you were pointing the mouse. I went from just being some random guy with a gun to being a true trickshot god. It's simple stuff like that which really made combat feel fun, even with a stand I really didn't want. Add on a great UI and really fluid general combat, and this game is, in my opinion, one of, if not the best JoJo game on Roblox. It doesn't have the wealth of fan service that most other games have, obviously due to it being relatively new and focusing more on polish, but I really don't mind that at all. I can't wait to see the future of this game. Another similarly great game is JoJo Chains of Fate. This one follows the JoJo formula a lot more closely, not being nearly as unique as YBA, but it's still fantastic. Again, the combat system is good and feels nice, stands feel great to use as well. Even though I, again, did not really get a stand I wanted, I still had lots of fun using it. While not as guided and polished as YBA's, quests are there and simple to understand, with highlights guiding you to the area you should go to and suggested levels so you can actually have some idea where you're going and when. And of course, skill trees. I mean, I love skill trees. Unfortunately, this game is being discontinued though. I can't see what Raisi does next though. Okay, if you're getting tired of all the grindy, questy games I've been suggesting to you, I've got a much simpler pleasure for you. JoJo's Alternate Universe is a unique JoJo game due to the small change that you can make your own stand. Alternate Universe has a really robust stand creator system that I spent a long time on. Once you create your stand, there's no grinding, just pick the moves you want your stand to have and start fighting. Want to stand with a reality overriding punch, time stop, starfinger, and homing bombs? You can do that. Certain types of moves sharing the same cooldown timer prevents you from just loading your stand with the most powerful moves, because then you'll end up having to go minutes at a time with all your moves on cooldown. This one is similar to Not So Bizarre Adventure in the fact that you don't upgrade or pick up items or anything, just make your character and go wild for a couple of hours. It goes to show that you can make a really solid JoJo game without any stories or crazy stands or quests or anything. There's not a whole lot of moves just yet, and most are the standard aura variations, but this game is an alpha, so I'm sure many more will come. I'm sure there are more hidden gems that I missed, but those were the ones that stood out to me in the sea of popular JoJo games. Anyways. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an extremely popular anime, one that I don't think will die anytime soon, meaning that JoJo games on Roblox likely will be around for many more years to come. I know I did a lot of ranting in this video, but don't get me wrong, If you have fun with the JoJo games that I discussed today, that's fine. At the end of the day, the only thing that's really important is that people are creating games and other people are playing those games. But when I see the good, it just makes me think that there doesn't need to be so much of the bad. Again, Roblox is at its best when developers are either A, perfecting old things, or B, trying new things. I think we've had enough games to perfect the JoJo formula, so why don't we try to move on to some new things? Either way, I know one thing will always stay the same. JoJo games will always be a bit bizarre. And that's the end of my video. Thanks for sticking all the way through. And remember to do the like and subscribe thingy, you know. If you want, tell me in the comments what you disagreed with, what you liked, what you want to see next, or just how your day is going. I need engagement. Otherwise, I think that's the end of the video from me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!